Right, well, Love and Marriage Huntsville TV star Martell Holt was recently arrested for domestic violence. The 42-year-old was booked into the Madison County Jail last night. Holt was charged with third-degree domestic violence and harassing communications.
The sight of Martell Holt being caught by the FBI in the middle of a crime scene stunned everyone who heard about it. For years, he had worked hard to present himself as a polished businessman and television personality. To many fans of Love and Marriage Huntsville, he was known as a charming, confident, and ambitious man who seemed to have it all. But that image shattered in an instant. Not only did he lose his appeal in court, but he also collided with the harsh truth that his life would never be the same. What once looked like the glamorous story of a rising star quickly turned into a never-ending courtroom saga. Unlike television drama, this wasn't scripted or exaggerated for entertainment. The outcomes were not rumors or speculation, they were real judgments that would follow him forever. At 45 years old, Martell should have been at the height of his success. He was supposed to be running thriving businesses, expanding his brand, and enjoying the benefits of fame. He had reality TV visibility, investments, and recognition that many people dream of. Instead, he was sitting in courtrooms, facing reporters, and dealing with the fallout from a domestic violence case that drew national attention. That case was devastating. It wasn't a situation that could be brushed aside as simple drama or exaggerated gossip. It was serious, legally binding, and impossible to escape. Martell's only chance to clear his name was through an appeal. But when that failed, the consequences became permanent. The court's decision didn't just hand down a sentence, it sent a message. It told the world that Martell Holt was not above accountability, regardless of his celebrity status. Many people misunderstand what an appeal actually does. It isn't a brand new trial where someone gets to tell their story again with a different lawyer. It isn't based on emotions or public sympathy. An appeal is strictly about proving that the first trial was handled incorrectly in a significant way. That's where Martell's team failed. They didn't bring new facts, groundbreaking evidence, or legal arguments that could change the outcome. They simply repackaged old defenses, hoping the court would see things differently the second time around. Judges, however, saw right through it. Not only was his appeal rejected, but the judges went further by criticizing the weakness of his claims. They pointed out that his case lacked legal merit and substance. Even more damaging, they highlighted his attitude, his unwillingness to show remorse, his dismissive behavior, and his desperate attempts to control the public narrative. These factors erased the little credibility he had left. Martell's fall didn't happen overnight. For years, whispers about his behavior and scandals followed him. Still, many fans dismissed them as exaggerated drama or the price of being in the public eye. But once the case reached the courtroom, the truth became harder to deny. Witnesses spoke, evidence was presented. The polished mask he had built in front of cameras slipped away. The rejection of his appeal became the final nail in the coffin. Appeals courts do not bend to public opinion. They focus only on the law. And this time, the law found no errors. The judge in his original trial had been praised for fairness and thoroughness. When Martell tried to attack that process, the higher court made it clear there were no mistakes, only consequences. It is one thing to lose in court, but it is another to lose publicly. When word spread that his appeal was denied, social media erupted. People who had followed the case were not surprised. Many said the outcome was overdue. Others commented that no one can outrun the truth forever. Comments flooded timelines, videos, and hashtags. One person wrote, "Eventually, the truth catches up with you, and now it has for Martell." But the effects went beyond reactions online. His reputation, once built on sharp suits, reality TV charisma, and the image of success, was now stained permanently. public opinion shifted, and when that happens, it's often more damaging than any legal ruling. Fans stop rooting for you. Sponsors and business partners quietly walk away. Opportunities disappear. For a long time, Martell was one of the central figures on Love and Marriage Huntsville. His personality, drama, and conflicts made him an essential part of the show's success. Ratings rose when he was at the center of storylines. But television thrives on controlled drama. When controversy spills into reality and crosses into criminal territory, networks begin to distance themselves. Producers no longer want to defend someone with a legal conviction attached to their name. Rumors began spreading about whether Martell would be written out of the show, gradually phased out, or quietly removed altogether. Either way, his once secure place on the series was no longer guaranteed. Martell wasn't just a reality star. He branded himself as an entrepreneur, presenting himself as a successful Black businessman. He launched ventures in construction, real estate, and even wine labels, trying to show that he could build wealth beyond television. But the internet doesn't forget. The moment someone searches his name today, the first results aren't about his accomplishments. They are about his court case, the failed appeal, and his conviction. For potential investors, that is a flashing red warning sign. Even loyal customers hesitate when the face of a brand is associated with violence and scandal. Reputation isn't just about headlines, it's about the energy people feel when they hear your name. Right now, Martell's name carries negative weight, and that has caused his business ventures to stall. Sales are dropping, investors are pulling back, clients are cautious. The empire he tried to build is crumbling from within. While his professional collapse is obvious, the personal cost is far heavier. Martell is a father. His children have grown up under the watchful eye of cameras and the public. Now, their father's legal troubles follow them everywhere. At school, online, and in their friendships, they carry the shadow of his actions. Custody arrangements become more complicated when one parent is labeled as unstable or harmful. Courts consider past judgments when deciding how much time a parent can spend with their children. For Martell, this legal decision could affect where his children live, which schools they attend, and how often they see him. Beyond logistics, there is emotional damage. Rebuilding trust with children who have witnessed public humiliation and family tension is not easy. They will one day have questions, and the answers will not simple. Legal battles are not only exhausting, but also expensive. Appeals require lawyers, research, and countless hours of preparation. Martell has already spent large amounts of money on a fight he ultimately lost. On top of that, his businesses are struggling and sponsorship deals are disappearing. This financial squeeze leaves him vulnerable. For someone who built a lifestyle around public success, the loss of income is a heavy blow. When your image is your currency, scandals don't just hurt your reputation, they dry up your entire source of money. The denial of his appeal sparked widespread debate. Many people celebrated the decision as overdue justice. They argued that it showed how fame and power cannot shield someone from accountability. Twitter threads, Instagram comments, and YouTube breakdowns flooded the internet. Others, however, defended Martell. A smaller but vocal group claimed he was being targeted as a successful Black man. They insisted that the system was designed to bring him down and that the media exaggerated his case for entertainment. This divide highlighted a bigger issue. When celebrities are involved, legal cases often become cultural battles rather than straightforward matters of truth. For some, Martell's downfall is a warning that actions have consequences, no matter how glamorous someone appears on television. For others, it is an example of an unforgiving system that rarely grants second chances. Coverage of Martell's case spread across different platforms. Gossip sites focused on his ruined reputation, the end of his television career, and the drama surrounding his personal life. More serious news outlets highlighted the legal aspects, examining what the case meant for future domestic violence trials. Advocacy groups used the moment to speak out. They reminded the public that abuse does not disappear just because the abuser is famous. Survivors' voices matter, and fame cannot erase accountability. For them, Martell's conviction was not only about one man, but about reinforcing the idea that justice applies equally to everyone. Perhaps one of the most painful outcomes for Martell is the silence from people who once admired him. Business partners are avoiding him. Friends and allies who once spoke highly of him are keeping their distance. Mentorship roles and community influence have faded. In the influencer world, perception equals value. Overnight, Martell's influence collapsed. Rebuilding such a reputation is an almost impossible task. Forgiveness in the public eye is rare, especially when the offense is tied to violence. Every future project, whether it's a podcast, a new business, or a return to social media, will be judged under the shadow of his past. For Martell, the path forward is unclear. If he wants to rebuild, it will take years of consistent humility, accountability, and work. The confident, defiant character he once played on television cannot help him now. That image entertained audiences, but it does not inspire forgiveness. Behind him lies fame, money, and a lifestyle that is slipping away. In front of him stands a reality shaped by his own decisions, a future where trust is broken, opportunities are gone, and his legacy is permanently marked by this court ruling. One thing is certain, whether he fades quietly into the background or attempts a comeback, the story of Martell Holt will never be the same. This time, it will not be shaped by television producers or publicists, but by the consequences of choices he can never undo. Thank you for watching. Martell Holt's story shows how fast fame can turn into fallout. From court rulings to career setbacks, his journey is a reminder that choices have lasting results. Stay tuned for more updates, subscribe for the latest stories, and share your thoughts below.